Let me start with a fact that often surprises many of my patients. By the age of 60, over 30% of men experience clinically low testosterone, and this percentage only increases as they get older. But here's what rarely gets discussed. Low testosterone isn't just about reduced muscle mass or a lower sex drive. It can also present as persistent fatigue, mood swings, poor sleep, and even mental fog. Too often, men blame themselves, thinking, maybe this is just aging. But getting older doesn't mean giving up your energy, motivation, or vitality. What if I told you that something as simple as including the right fruits in your daily routine could support your hormones in a proven, evidence-backed way? That's correct. Today, we're going to explore 3 particular fruits that research has shown can help maintain testosterone levels, reduce inflammation, and boost cellular energy, particularly in men over 60. Now, I know you might be skeptical. Can food truly make a difference? The answer, backed by years of scientific research, is a quiet but powerful yes. These fruits are not a replacement for hormone therapy or lifestyle adjustments, but they act as supportive allies in the fight against oxidative stress, hormonal decline, and chronic fatigue. Unfortunately, this is rarely the kind of guidance you'll find on social media, where the focus is on confusing supplements, exaggerated promises, or potentially unsafe practices. That's why this discussion matters. You deserve clear, reliable information, not confusion. Today, we'll break down how testosterone actually functions after age 60, how certain fruits can help, and the small daily changes that can restore energy and vitality without hype or fear. We'll also debunk common myths, like testosterone being solely about sex, or that fruit increases estrogen, and I'll share what the actual research reveals. Let's approach this like I would with any patient in my office, with care, evidence, and no judgment. This isn't about quick fixes. It's about giving your body the support it needs and giving you the understanding you deserve. Let's dig in as if you were sitting right across from me in the clinic. Many men assume that low testosterone after 60 is simply a sign of aging. But aging itself isn't the cause. It's just the context. Research shows testosterone starts to naturally decline around ages 30 to 35 at roughly 1% per year. For many, this decline accelerates due to hidden, chronic, cumulative factors. So, what truly drives low testosterone in men over 60? Let's look at 3 main contributors. Chronic inflammation. Inflammation is your body's defense mechanism, but when it persists, it disrupts internal balance. A 2020 review in Frontiers in Endocrinology found that higher levels of inflammatory markers like IL-6 and TNF-alpha are closely linked to lower testosterone in aging men. Why? Inflammation impacts the Leydig cells in the testes, the cells that produce testosterone. Think of them as tiny hormone factories. When surrounded by inflammation, they slow down or stop producing hormones. Insulin resistance, and metabolic syndrome. This is a major factor. Research from Harvard and the NIH shows that men with insulin resistance, often caused by poor diet, inactivity, or excess visceral fat, tend to have much lower testosterone. The relationship is bidirectional. Low testosterone worsens insulin sensitivity, and insulin resistance further reduces testosterone. It becomes a hormonal tug-of-war, affecting energy, sleep, and libido. Oxidative stress. This is cellular damage caused by unstable molecules called free radicals. Over time, oxidative stress harms tissues, including the testes and the hypothalamus, the brain's hormone control center. Think of it like rust. It silently accumulates and weakens blood vessels and hormone signaling. Now, this is where diet, specifically fruit, comes into play. Whole fruits are packed with antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds, and phytonutrients that directly target these underlying issues. So rather than seeing fruit as merely sugar, think of it as a strategic ally, something that calms inflammation, restores metabolic balance, and safeguards your hormonal machinery. Let's pause for a quick myth-busting moment. Many men have heard that eating fruit raises estrogen or lowers testosterone. That misconception comes from misinterpreted rodent studies or fear-driven blogs, not human clinical evidence. In reality, certain fruits, as we'll explore, can indirectly support testosterone by boosting nitric oxide, lowering stress hormones like cortisol, and protecting the testes at a cellular level. This is something I encounter frequently in practice. Men trying extreme diets, cutting carbs or fruit entirely, and wondering why their energy tanks. The body isn't a simple calorie-burning machine. It's a finely tuned hormonal symphony. And every symphony needs the right instruments, including antioxidants, healthy fats, and essential micronutrients. So here's the key takeaway from this section. Low testosterone after 60 is common, but far from unavoidable. Aging contributes, yes, but the major drivers are lifestyle-related and often reversible. When we lower inflammation, support insulin sensitivity, and protect the cells that produce hormones, we give the body a chance to restore balance. The foods we choose daily, especially the right fruits, can either burden the system or lift it. Next, let's focus on the first fruit backed by strong clinical research for supporting testosterone and cardiovascular health. It's red, juicy, and far more potent than most men realize. Introducing a fruit often called nature's nitric oxide booster, the pomegranate. Pomegranates aren't top of mind for men trying to support testosterone, but research suggests they absolutely should be. What does the evidence show? In a 2012 randomized study published in Endocrine Abstracts, healthy men who consumed pomegranate juice daily for 2 weeks experienced an average 24% increase in salivary testosterone. That's impressive, but there's more. They also saw lower blood pressure, reduced cortisol, and improved mood. How does a single fruit do all this? Let's unpack it. Pomegranates are rich in polyphenols, including punicalagins and ellagic acid. These compounds deliver strong antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, shielding Leydig cells in the testes, the very cells that produce testosterone, from oxidative stress. But there's more. Pomegranate also boosts nitric oxide levels, a gas molecule your body generates to relax blood vessels and enhance circulation. Why does that matter? Improved blood flow supports not just the heart, but erectile function, testicular health, and nutrient delivery to endocrine tissues. There's also a link between testosterone and cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Chronically high cortisol suppresses the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal HPG axis, which governs testosterone production. Pomegranate appears to lower cortisol, relieving this suppression and allowing testosterone to rise naturally. And here's something most men don't know. Pomegranate may also support prostate health. A 2006 study in clinical cancer research showed that men with rising PSA levels who consumed pomegranate extract had a significant slowing in PSA doubling time, a marker linked to prostate cancer progression. The effects likely stem from its anti-inflammatory properties and protection against oxidative DNA damage. To summarize, pomegranate supports nitric oxide in circulation, reduces cortisol, protects Leydig cells for better hormone production, and may even slow PSA progression. That's a remarkable set of benefits from a single fruit. So how should you include it? Fresh pomegranate arils, the ruby-like seeds, are ideal. A half cup per day delivers a potent dose of antioxidants. Sprinkle them on oatmeal, blend into a smoothie, or enjoy as a snack. You can also drink 100% pomegranate juice. Just mind the portion. About 4 to 6 ounces daily provides benefits without overdoing the natural sugars. And if you're on medications for blood pressure or blood thinners, check with your doctor, as pomegranate can slightly influence medication metabolism in some cases. Here's a simple analogy I often share with my patients. Think of pomegranate as a circulatory multivitamin. It's a gentle tune-up for your blood vessels, your hormones, and even your prostate. And it's delicious, which matters because the best health habits are the ones you'll actually maintain. If this is clarifying things for you, give it a thumbs up and keep learning. We need more men discussing nutrition and hormones without shame or confusion, and I'm glad you're here for that. Next, we'll shift gears to a very different kind of fruit, one that's creamy, rich in healthy fat, often misunderstood, yet essential for hormone synthesis, the mighty avocado. Moving from something juicy and tart to something creamy and nutrient-dense, let's talk avocado. Many don't realize avocados are technically fruit, yet for men over 60, they're among the most powerful hormone-supportive foods available. Why? Testosterone is built from cholesterol, not the artery-clogging type, but the kind your body needs to make steroid hormones like testosterone, DHA, and cortisol. Avocados provide the ideal fat profile to support that process. Research backs this up. A 2019 review in the Journal of Clinical Lipidology highlighted that monounsaturated fats, like those in avocados, are linked to higher free testosterone, particularly when paired with lower intake of trans fats and refined carbs. Monounsaturated fats aren't just energy, they're signals. They help activate enzymes in the testes that convert cholesterol into testosterone. They also reduce inflammation and improve insulin sensitivity, both critical for a smoothly functioning hormonal system. But there's more. Avocados are rich in vitamin B6, supporting dopamine and testosterone production, vitamin E, which acts as an antioxidant to protect testicular tissue, and magnesium, which enhances free testosterone by lowering SHBG, or sex hormone-binding globulin. Let me break that down. SHBG binds testosterone in the blood, making it unavailable to your cells, like wrapping your testosterone in duct tape. Magnesium helps reduce SHBG, freeing more active testosterone. A small study in biological trace element research found that older men supplementing with magnesium saw meaningful rises in free testosterone, especially when paired with regular exercise. And avocados are among the best natural magnesium sources in the fruit category. I often hear this question, won't all that fat raise my cholesterol? The evidence says otherwise. Avocados can lower LDL bad cholesterol while raising HDL good cholesterol. A 2015 study in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that eating one avocado per day improved lipid profiles in overweight adults without increasing total cholesterol. So you're supporting hormones and protecting your heart at the same time. Now, how to apply this practically? Half an avocado at breakfast with eggs or in a smoothie. Mashed avocado on whole grain toast, topped with seeds or greens, sliced on grilled salmon or chicken at lunch or dinner, or simply a few chunks with olive oil and sea salt as a snack. Avocado is satiating, helping control appetite, stabilize blood sugar, and reduce energy crashes. One more myth to bust. Fat doesn't make you fat. Poor metabolic signaling, excess sugar, and chronic inflammation do. Healthy fats, like those in avocado, actually help your body burn fat more efficiently by balancing hormones. Remember, testosterone isn't just about libido. It impacts energy, mood, bone density, and brain function. Supporting it with real foods like avocado is one of the gentlest, most sustainable steps you can take. If this resonates, share in the comments what's worked for you, what hasn't, or where you're stuck. This is a conversation, not a lecture. Next, we'll explore a fruit packed with antioxidants and often misunderstood by men. Berries, specifically. We'll bust the myth that they raise estrogen and show why they might actually help protect your testosterone and your prostate. Let's talk berries, Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. They're sweet, colorful, and far too often feared by men who've been told, don't eat berries, they raise estrogen. This is one of the most common myths I hear, especially online. But let's set the record straight. The truth is not only different, it's empowering. Research shows that berries are among the most antioxidant-rich foods on the planet. They're loaded with anthocyanins, flavonoids, and ellagic acids, compounds that do much more than brighten your fruit bowl. They actively protect testicular tissue, reduce inflammation, and support healthy blood vessel function. A 2016 study in the Journal of Nutrition and Biochemistry found that anthocyanins in berries helped shield Leydig cells from oxidative damage, preserving testosterone production in aging rats. Similar patterns appear in human studies, showing that berry-rich diets reduce inflammatory markers linked to hormonal disruption. What about the estrogen myth? Here's where the confusion starts. Some plants contain phytoestrogens, plant compounds, that weakly bind estrogen receptors. But phytoestrogens are not the same as estrogen, and they don't feminize men. In fact, many act as selective estrogen receptor modulators, blocking harmful estrogen forms while supporting hormonal balance. The concern mostly comes from soy, not berries, and even there it's often exaggerated. Berries contain very low levels of phytoestrogens, and what they do provide is protective rather than disruptive. There's no clinical evidence that berries raise estrogen or lower testosterone in men. In fact, they may do the opposite. I like to use an analogy with my patients. Think of testosterone as a delicate flame. Oxidative stress and inflammation are wind and rain trying to snuff it out. Berries act like a glass lantern, shielding that flame and keeping it burning longer. Another advantage: berries improve insulin sensitivity. Insulin resistance is a silent killer of testosterone. When blood sugar is poorly controlled, testosterone production declines. A 2017 study in Food and Function found that daily berry consumption improved fasting glucose, insulin sensitivity, and vascular health, all critical for testosterone. Plus, berries support brain health, which is closely linked to hormone signaling. Remember, testosterone production starts in the hypothalamus. If brain inflammation is high, hormone signaling drops. How can you incorporate berries in a hormone-supportive way? A handful of blueberries in Greek yogurt, a mixed berry smoothie with spinach, protein, and flax, raspberries atop oatmeal or chia pudding, frozen berries blended into a testosterone-friendly dessert with dark chocolate and avocado. Frozen berries are just as nutritious, often even more so, because they're flash frozen at peak ripeness. Worried about sugar? Berries are among the lowest glycemic fruits, meaning they don't spike blood sugar. Their fiber slows digestion and supports steady energy. One more bonus: berries may protect prostate health. Research from the American Neurological Association links high berry antioxidant intake to lower rates of prostate enlargement and inflammation. While more studies are needed, early findings are encouraging. To summarize, berries don't raise estrogen. They support hormonal balance, protect testosterone-producing cells, improve insulin sensitivity and brain function, and may benefit prostate health. If you've avoided berries because of outdated myths, it's time to welcome them back. This isn't about perfection. It's about small, smart choices that support your body as it ages, without fear or confusion. Up next, we'll zoom out to a broader question. Is fruit sugar harming your hormones? We'll explore the difference between fructose and processed sugar and why your body responds very differently to each. Realize, this next topic comes up all the time, especially for men trying to clean up their diet. I've cut out all fruit. I heard the sugar kills testosterone. Let's take a deep breath and look at what the science really says. While it's true that excess sugar can disrupt hormones, not all sugar is created equal, and your body can tell the difference between whole fruit and processed sweeteners. Let's break it down like I would in a clinic visit. First, fructose, the natural sugar in fruit. Yes, high amounts of fructose can cause problems, but the key words are high amounts, and more importantly, source. When we talk about fructose-harming hormones, we're usually referring to added fructose in the form of high fructose corn syrup. This ultra-processed sweetener, found in sodas, packaged snacks, and sauces, delivers a massive dose of sugar without fiber, nutrients, or satiety, leading to liver strain, insulin resistance, and inflammation, all of which suppress testosterone production. Whole fruit, however, tells a very different story. Whole fruits come with fiber, which slows sugar absorption and protects insulin function, antioxidants, which combat oxidative stress and inflammation, and micronutrients, which support testicular and endocrine health. In fact, multiple studies show that moderate fruit consumption, especially antioxidant-rich fruits like berries, citrus, and pomegranate, is linked to better metabolic health, not worse. Let's look at the evidence. A 2019 cohort study published in Nutrients followed men with varying diets and found that those consuming 2 to 4 servings of fruit per day, particularly low glycemic types, had higher testosterone levels and lower waist circumference than men consuming large amounts of added sugar or refined carbs. The takeaway? Sugar isn't universally bad. Context matters. Eating a banana isn't the same as drinking a can of soda. One provides potassium, magnesium, fiber, and vitamin B6. The other delivers empty calories, insulin spikes, and zero nutritional benefit. Let's address the testosterone connection more directly. Excess refined sugar raises insulin. Chronically high insulin leads to insulin resistance, impairing the hypothalamus and pituitary, which are key regulators of testosterone. High sugar intake also increases aromatase activity, the enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen, the hormonal disruption men fear most. The good news: fruit sugars don't behave that way, especially when part of a balanced meal. Even higher sugar fruits, like grapes or bananas, are fine in moderation alongside healthy fats or protein, keeping glycemic load low and insulin response steady. Now, practical tips for men over 60 trying to support testosterone. Pair fruit with fat or protein. For example, berries with Greek yogurt, apple slices with almond butter, or banana with a boiled egg. Avoid fruit juice, especially store-bought, which removes fiber, concentrates sugars, and makes it easy to overconsume. Use fruit to replace processed sweets instead of cookies or sugary cereal, like frozen banana with cinnamon and crushed nuts, or pomegranate with dark chocolate. Stick to 2 to 3 servings a day. That's enough to gain benefits without overdoing natural sugars. A serving could be 1 small apple, half a cup of berries, or 1 kiwi. Key takeaway: whole fruits, especially antioxidant-rich ones, support testosterone rather than sabotaging it. The real hormonal threats are excess processed sugar, insulin resistance, and chronic inflammation, not a handful of blueberries or a slice of papaya. Your body is smarter than the internet. Up next, we'll bring it all together. How to build a testosterone-friendly plate, integrate these fruits daily, and what a sample day might look like for energy, balance, and hormone health. Now that we've explored the science behind how specific fruits support testosterone, energy, and overall vitality, it's time to make it practical. Because even the best research means little if we don't know how to bring it into our daily routines. So, let's focus on building a testosterone-friendly plate. One designed for men over 60, supporting hormone balance, and actually enjoyable to eat. First, a quick refresher on our 3 superstar fruits. Pomegranate boosts nitric oxide, circulation, lowers cortisol, and protects the prostate. Avocado provides hormone-supportive fats, vitamin E, magnesium, and promotes satiety. Berries, packed with antioxidants, protect testicular tissue, balance blood sugar, and reduce inflammation. Each addresses a unique pillar of testosterone health. How do we weave them into your day? Let's break it into 3 main parts: breakfast, midday, and evening, with flexible options based on your preferences and schedule. Morning, calm energy and hormonal support. Start with a meal that sets the tone, low in processed carbs, rich in healthy fats, fiber, and antioxidants. Sample breakfast: half an avocado mashed on whole grain or sprouted toast, topped with a poached egg and arugula. Side of Greek yogurt with half a cup of mixed berries, green tea or black coffee. Why it works: avocado provides fats essential for testosterone synthesis. Yogurt adds protein and probiotics for gut health, and berries supply antioxidants to shield hormones from oxidative stress. This combination keeps you full and avoids mid-morning energy crashes. Midday, blood sugar stability and sustained focus. This is when energy dips or stress can spike. Keep lunch grounding and balanced. Sample lunch: grilled salmon or chicken breast with quinoa or lentils, roasted vegetables such as broccoli, carrots, and bell peppers. Side of mixed greens with olive oil and lemon. Small serving of pomegranate seeds on the side or mixed into salad. Why it works: lean protein paired with complex carbs, fiber, and healthy fats stabilizes insulin. Pomegranate adds nitric oxide and combats cortisol, supporting circulation, energy, and focus. Evening: recovery, sleep, and hormonal reset. Dinner should be light, anti-inflammatory, and help wind down your nervous system. Sample dinner: stir fry with tofu or shrimp, garlic, and leafy greens. Small serving of brown rice or cauliflower rice. Half a cup of blueberries or blackberries with a tablespoon of chia seeds. For dessert, herbal tea like chamomile, ashwagandha, or lemon balm. Why it works: berries reduce inflammation and support overnight cellular repair. Chia adds fiber, omega-3s, and magnesium, all beneficial for testosterone and relaxation. Avoiding heavy, sugary foods at night protects insulin and sleep quality, both crucial for testosterone production. Bonus: weekly habits to reinforce hormone health: meal prep Sundays. Pre-slice avocado, portion berries, freeze pomegranate arils. Hydration with purpose: infuse water with lemon, cucumber, or mint, avoiding sugary drinks. Pair fruits with protein, slows sugar absorption and stabilizes energy. Movement plus meals: a short walk after eating can improve insulin sensitivity by up to 30%. Simple, hormone-friendly habit. Consistency over perfection. Hormonal health is built over time. Testosterone reflects how your body is supported or stressed across weeks and months. The more you nourish, sleep, move, and eat with care, the more your hormones respond positively. So instead of cutting out foods out of fear, start adding in the right ones with clarity, not confusion. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most. Not just for your hormones, but for your long-term vitality. Share one habit you're going to try below. Your comment might inspire another man to take his first step. Now, in our final section, let's wrap it all up. We'll recap the science, revisit the myths we busted, and leave you with one small, powerful action you can start today. Take a breath, and let's bring this together. Over the last half hour, we've covered a lot. And if you're here at the end, that tells me something important. You're not just curious, you're ready to take charge of your health. Here's what we now know. Testosterone decline after 60 is common, but far from inevitable. It's often driven by inflammation, oxidative stress, insulin resistance, and nutrient gaps, not simply aging. The right fruits can support testosterone naturally, not through gimmicks, but through real physiological mechanisms, improving circulation, lowering stress hormones, fueling hormone production, and protecting the tissues that keep your system running smoothly. Pomegranate supports nitric oxide, balances cortisol, and protects the prostate. It's more than a fruit, it's a circulatory ally. Avocados supply the fats and nutrients that hormones are built from, stabilize blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and fuel testosterone synthesis. Berries are antioxidant powerhouses, not estrogen bombs. They protect your testes, your brain, and your metabolic health. Whole fruit sugar isn't your enemy. It's fiber-rich, nutrient-dense, and satisfying, the opposite of added sugar. And finally, you've learned how to build a hormone-friendly plate. A real-world approach you can start today without cutting entire food groups or falling for trends that leave you tired, confused, or ashamed. Here's the truth I want you to take with you. You don't need gimmicks. You don't need to fear fruit. You don't need to fear aging. What you need is understanding, evidence, and tools you can trust. When you understand how your body works, you stop blaming it. You stop seeing every change as failure. You begin to support it with food, rest, and curiosity. If you felt your energy fading or noticed changes in motivation, strength, or drive, know this. It's common, and it is treatable. Often, the most powerful steps aren't drastic, they're daily. They look like choosing berries over ultra-processed snacks, adding half an avocado instead of skipping healthy fats, sipping a small glass of pomegranate juice instead of chasing the latest supplement, taking a 10-minute walk after dinner, prioritizing sleep, hydration, and nutrient-dense meals. These aren't small steps, they're signals to your body that it's safe, supported, and capable of thriving. You don't have to fear your body, you just need good information. You deserve to feel like yourself again. You deserve to age with strength, clarity, and confidence. Here's your one small action for today. Add one of these 3 fruits to your next meal. That's it. Start small, stay consistent, and notice what happens when your body finally gets what it's been asking for. Stay curious, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one. If this video helped you understand your health a little better, leave a comment below. And if you want grounded, shame-free health content from someone who actually sees this in the clinic every day, subscribe, and let's keep this conversation